I have two topics. One is really short. I was curious if anyone had any opposition to maybe moving one meeting per month an hour later to try to be more um, Asia time zone friendly.
Not a problem for me.
Okay. I know that will make it even later for those that are in the East Coast US time, but so maybe next week we'll make it 5:30 Pacific time. Is that Mike, what would work for Lemming?
Yes, that's what I recall Lemming asked, is just 1 hour difference would be a big help.
It'd be 8:30 for them instead of 7:30 a.m.
Yeah. And then I guess while we were on, becoming more worldwide friendly, I know there was a community meeting that had LVFS, the members there, and they, I believe, are in Europe. I didn't know if we should move one earlier per month, or if we just schedule a one-off, because I think there was some desire to bring the SBOM information into this meeting to discuss the intercept with the tools.
Yeah, Richard Hughes is in UK and Cambridge, and I think some of the other guys are in Germany, Nuremberg and Germany. So yeah, in the morning would be a more reasonable time for them. This is pretty late for them.
Is there someone on the...
I'd suggest a one-off meeting just to get that conversation, keep it moving forward. And then I think you can query the community to see if they're interested in a tools and CI meeting that they would regularly attend on the phone or as a Teams meeting in the US morning, Europe afternoon.
Okay, that's kind of what I was going to ask. Is there anybody who thinks that they would attend on a regular basis? Okay, so I'll try to get one scheduled maybe this month, late this month for a morning, and we'll just cancel the regular time. Okay. What other topics do people have for today?
We can talk about code QL for a minute. I don't know if Michael Kubaki is going to join.
Talked to them about an hour ago, but I haven't in a little bit, so I don't know. I saw you were able to get that running.
Yeah, and I can just that's the extent of what I can give an update on. Is Michael was observing that the EDK2 repo, if he submitted a pull request from a fork against the EDK2 repo that included a GitHub action, I don't think it mattered which one it was. He was just attempting to do one with the code QL enabled, and it would never run it. And but we could get it to run against other repos, so that was very strange. It appears that until a repository has one GitHub action enabled in a branch that's actually checked into that repo somewhere, actions is disabled on the repository. So I was able to get the Michael's code QL PR to kick off its action after I checked in a temporary branch into the EDK2 repo that included an action. And then I never ran the action. I just checked it in. And then I deleted the temporary branch. And then the PR from Michael would run. So it's got to be some activation or security, reason why GitHub behaves that way, that until one of the maintainers with write access to a repository enables an action at least one time, actions are disabled on that repository.
Okay, that sounds good. I know that we are working through fixes for hundreds of the errors. Many of them are pretty trivial, but they're all valid. So we're hoping to get a couple, one set of changes up or a change set up with the fixes.
Okay. And what is the developer experience for triaging and fixing those issues? Since it's an integrated tool into GitHub, what's the developer experience with it?
So I think that's kind of the two paths, right? One path is we're just getting them fixed in an internal branch, so we're ready if CodeQL is selected and we think that that's a good place to go. The second one is to kind of explore the experience of developers submitting PRs that might fail CodeQL and how they see that, how they fix it. So I think that part has been waiting on you to get the action enabled. Now that that's enabled, we should be able to go look at that. I don't know the answer.
Okay, but the report that comes out when you run that PR now, it shows a list of the issues found, right?
Yes, I think so. And I think the code scanning, if you go to EDK2, Tiano Core EDK2/security, then you can go to code scanning alerts and you can see the pull request and the result. And I think you can go see the problems, right? So there are 636 alerts on that pull request.
Got it. So yeah, I'm just trying to see so how do you actually browse to the alerts? And who has access to the alerts? Is it just maintainers?
All great questions. I don't know. Are other people able to go see that link I just put in the chat? Is anyone on the call not a maintainer that they could go click that link and see what happens?
Branch hasn't been scanned yet.
I'm not a maintainer and I get a 404 error. This is Harry.
Fair enough. So
Yeah, I see a message at the bottom that says this branch hasn't been scanned yet. But if I go to the pull request, I can see that there's the code QL action that ran. Then it gives me the log, basically the log of everything that ran. But I don't see a summary of the issues found. That's why I'm asking. I'm trying to what the maintainer experience or those that are considered have the privileges to help review new issues, and they can maybe grant visibility to others to come help fix them.
yeah, I agree. So I think that's what we can work on this week is understanding the experience within GitHub a little bit more.
I know the other question I asked and it was, is there, do we know what scanning engine CodeQL is based on, or is it a custom one that GitHub has done? Is it somehow related to Clang or Coverity or Clockworks or any of the other standard ones, or is it their own spin?
My understanding is that they have invented their own extensible engine where you can write rules.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I read also.
Yeah, I think what would be valuable for responding to Felix's RFC on this topic is kind of if there's any articles that have done a compare contrast of CodeQL against some of those other industry tools, that might be good just to kind of help us decide that if it's really equivalent from a quality perspective of detecting issues to those other ones that we've been considering, then I think that's great. This is a great candidate. If there's some articles that say perhaps that it's better or worse than some of those other ones, that would be good data.
So I just joined. What was this topic about CodeQL that basically comparing like what static analysis tool we want to use?
Well, that's the decision we have to drive towards, which Felix from AMI is the one that put the RFC out trying to get to that selection and process for it. And so we have some other ones we had considered. So I just don't know how CodeQL matches up against like OpenCoverity or the Clang static analysis.
Okay.
The other part, Michael, that we were talking about was that we need to now that the GitHub action is enabled on that PR, we should play around with the views in GitHub and understand where people can go look at the results, what type of permissions you need. Is it only for maintainers, or can anyone contributing a PR go look at the results? And just understand the GitHub kind of flow with CodeQL and code scanning.
Okay. Yeah. I can put the link here, and I guess people can determine whether they can see it or not. I know I can see the results as a completely unsigned in GitHub user. So I think that's like the most basic level of access that's available there.
We couldn't see the results anymore. I wondered if they had aged out or if we weren't expanding the right view. On EDK2, there we were able to find it. I put that link in there. I don't know if you might not see it because you weren't joined yet, but